All grades at Tulsa Public Schools have now returned to class, today marking the final phase of students returning to in-person learning. 2 Works View's Jeanette Quezada talked to a TPS teacher about her experience returning to class.
That's right, Karen. TPS students are more than halfway through the school year, but this week has felt more like the first day of school for many of them.
We left for spring break and then never came back to school until now.
Penny Davis is a band director at Daniel Webster Middle School. She's one of hundreds of TPS teachers who returned to the classroom this week. For the past 11 months, she's been teaching her students virtually.
I'd find myself saying things like, can you hold your saxophone closer to this camera?
A task, she says, was not easy at all.
If you can imagine trying to teach a student to play the saxophone on a Zoom meeting, it is very challenging.
The district returned most of its students to in-person learning after rolling out a detailed COVID-19 safety plan and implementing an approach that brought different grade levels back over several days.
When I got to school yesterday and saw kids actually in person, and the joy that I experienced was more than I ever anticipated.
Although she's grateful to resume in-person instruction, she says classes are not quite what they used to be.
It's different for me because I would normally walk up to a student to correct something, and I have to find myself saying, okay, no, pick up a trumpet and make an example that way instead of getting up in that student's space.
Davis says her classroom averaged 25 students, but since in-person learning resumed, her classes now have about 16 students.
And on our smaller classes, we're holding those classes here in the band room with social distancing, and our larger classes we're holding in the auditorium.
Davis says the district has done a very thorough job implementing COVID-19 mitigation practices, and she's grateful for the thoughtful approach. That's right, and coming up at 6 o'clock, we talked to a parent who sent her student to school today. Live in Tulsa, Jeanette Quezada, 2 Works for You.